Hello, folks. I am back with a firearms comparison. This comparison is also a shooting impression as well between the FN 509 Tactical and the firearm that I consider that I call FrankenSauer. This basically is a firearm that I pretty much put together with the 6 hour parts because you know that the trigger module can go into any frame, etc. So this is really pretty much based off a X carry, actually. Comparing these two, as you see with the 509 Tactical, one of the major differences is I had an Apex trigger installed, and as you see, there is the Vortex Venom on here. I also put in this is a Beretta, what they call not a compensator, but they call like a muzzle brake. I will be taking this off because I'm going to order a precision machine compensator, which would match a little bit better with this. But I was just trying this out to see how I was doing, and it does very well. Okay, as you know, that the FN 509, it pretty much comes everything with the threaded barrel, and you can have a plate adjustments for uh, for the optic getting tongue tied. So you have that set up, and it's one of the great firearms because everything is done for you practically. It comes with two springs inside. One you could use if you're going to use a compensator, or you can use a suppressor. So this is a suppressor ready barrel. So it comes that way, and that's what makes this a nice package. With this one, like I said, these were parts that basically from Sig Sauer. This was originally a X compact, and I just put the module in this particular frame to get it to look like I want it to look. What's interesting about both of these that are comparable, they are pretty much high capacity. This is a 21 round magazine, and I believe this is a 24 round magazine, if I see that correctly. Yes, it is 24 round magazine. Both of these firearms are unloaded. I'm not going through the whole checking thing because I don't want to waste time on this video. I like both of these firearms, and they are pretty much similar, but there are some slight little differences. Let's start with the trigger on the FN 509 Tactical. Like I said, this is a Apex trigger. I sent this firearm off to Apex, and they took care of it for me because I screwed this trigger up trying to install it myself. So they took care of that for me, but there are some things that you need to know about it. One thing I liked about this trigger is an excellent trigger. You have that. Let me just. You have this is when it's racked, and you have a little bit of distance here, just a little bit of distance, and then there's your safety dingus right here, the blue right there, and you have that amount of creep. But when you pull the trigger, that's it. Nice flat trigger. It's immediate once you pull the trigger. You'll extend this out a little bit, and that's your take up. And the take up is right at the wall where my finger is, and you just pull the trigger. It's a little bit stout, but under firing conditions, you don't even notice it. It fires excellent. Uh, let's go with the FrankenSauer one. As you know, this is the standard trigger for the X series firearms. Let me rack the slide on here, and look at this is really short of a take up. That's where the take up is. Unlike the Apex trigger, the take up is right there. I'm at the wall. Pull, and that's it. Do this again to let it out, to see the reset. The reset is right there. I'm at the wall right here where my finger is, and then a break right there. Now, some people accuse these triggers for being sometimes mushy. Um, To me, it depends on what firearm you have because I have the X5. It seemed a little mushy a little bit. And then I recently acquired the X5 Legion where it wasn't as mushy. It seems like the poundage was a little bit different. It also could be because I have roughly about 1,000 rounds. Well, I'm over 1,000 rounds with this, and two configurations. Like I said, this was part of the X Compact, and then I put it in this one, and I shot tons of rounds in this, and it's very accurate. And this is no slouch either. This is very accurate as well. Let's go over to where the sights are. Now, the sights here, this is the Vortex Venom. I believe this is the 3 MOA one. I'm a big fan of Vortex sights with their lifetime warranties, and it is a very good sight for the money. And like I said, it has a lifetime guarantee. And for the money, this is not bad because if you don't want to spend a lot of money on a different type of RMRs, etc., this is a very good deal to have this. Plus, it's a lifetime warranty. One of the things that is a pro with the 509 Tactical is that it does have what you may say suppressor height sights, and that's out of the box. This is not something that is a uh, aftermarket deal. So these sights are very good. You have the sights here. It's high enough in the front and the back where it will co-witness with the dot here. And a friend of mine shot this and was very comfortable with this. But when it comes to the this is the SIG Romeo 1 Pro. I really like this sight a great deal, but there's one thing that's a little different, which is a complaint from a lot of people. Even though the sight is still, the rear sight is still on this one, and the sight is there. As you see, there's that green illuminated sight right there. Uh, it doesn't actually co-witness. In a pinch, you can, let's see if I can bring that up again. In a pinch, I don't know if you see, there's a little notch right here. That little notch right there, you may can just acquire it's a, you'll get a good range, and then you have to point it down a little bit because you got to remember that this doesn't actually co-witness. So you want that notch to at least give you a guide, and it pretty much is once you have it as a guide, just even it out. The best way to even any type of firearm out for shooting is to put it to eye level, meaning raise that firearm to eye level, and you shouldn't have a problem being on target, even if your sights are damaged or gone. We used to have that problem with Glocks a lot on the police department. So we were trained to put that firearm to eye level. And this was even before night sights, but uh, I digress. But shooting these two firearms, uh, they are very good. It depends on whether you like this particular. I tend to like the X carry grips or the X frame grips because it gives you that grip that you can have. Unlike some other firearms, it might not feel as good, and plus you have that able to get a high undercut. With this one, it has several removable back, or maybe two removable back straps, if I remember. Um, One thing nice about this out of the box is you have this texturing here. It from a distance it might look like tape, but it's not. It has a texture right here where you can place your support hand. Uh, a great texture here, great texture here in the front, and you're not going to lose your grip. Other than that, both of these firearms shoot very well, and I'm going to show you that they shoot identical with a couple of targets, and they are pretty much identical in my opinion. Let's start with. I'm going to start with the FN. These are all these targets are at 10 yards, and at 10 yards, I'm going to stand up so you can see it a little better. At 10 yards, this is the shots that I'm doing right in this area. Uh, I dropped this one out here and out here. I was going at a different speed, whether slow or fast, maybe one, two, three, and then maybe some double taps and try to do some triples. But as you see at 10 yards, this is really, really good. Blew out the red there. And that's on the FM509. Excuse the camera shake. And here we go with this is going to be on what I call the FrankenSauer, the Sig FrankenSauer. Again, it blows out the red here. I might have kind of like had this problem with twitching it a little bit, so that's why it's a little bit off toward the left here. Through this off, through this off, through this off, and of course right here, that was way off there. So, like I was saying, comparing both of these firearms, they shoot very well. Uh, and I'm glad someone asked me to compare these. But uh, for the money out the box, everything you need is right here. Only thing you have to do is just probably add a RMR or whatever you want to do because it has a kit with various different optics that you can put on here. But I highly, highly, highly suggest that you replace the trigger with an apex trigger. Another thing you might want to change out is the firing pin. There has been some words about the firing pin breaking out of these. I have the original firing pin. I'm just going to shoot that firing pin until it breaks. This is for the range anyway, so I'll shoot it till it breaks and then I'll replace it with the Apex. Other than that, there's a reason why I brought this particular firearm out also is look for a future video regarding this. In the future, you're going to see something a little different with this. And that's a big hint. Okay, folks, that's all I have for now. Stay safe. Happy shooting. #2A.